rates of annual shoreline change were developed in the 70s and 80s to give scientists a sense of a shoreline that they've never been to, an area of the world that they've never been to. It was meant to give them an understanding of what usually goes on there long term. It was never meant for homeowners to guess or understand how much change they can see in a year. So the rates of erosion for this stretch of shoreline is about 3 or 4 feet a year, right? That's the rate, the annual rate. The irony is that if you have a rate of change of, say, 3 to 4 feet a year, it's almost never going to be a rate of 3 or 4 feet per year every year, right? So it's not a great way to think about it. It happens in big pulses. It happens in big stretches. We've seen storm events here where you could lose 60 feet in one storm event. Yeah, so that's 10, 20 years of erosion right there in one storm event.
I know that it's a historic house and that it once was used as a Coast Guard station, and that it already has been moved once.
I think moving houses like this in terms of retreat and relocation is fine, depending on what you expect and who's paying the bills, right? We look back at the house and how much space do we have from the edge of the dune to the edge of the house? One moderate storm causing 10 feet of erosion this house would be pretty much in the same place as it was just before it moved. So it's a matter of what you want to do and how you want to spend your time, how you want to spend your money.
Well, I think that whole area is just really unstable, and has shown itself to be unstable, and is going to be more so.
Yeah, it's hard for scientists to ascribe a certain amount of increase in impact due to climate change for a weather event, right? A storm is primarily a weather event, so it's hard to say that. But, you know, common sense tells you that if sea level rises are higher, the waves are going to get more inland and do more damage. So it's hard to say for each individual storm event whether that's happening, but in general, absolutely.
It's a beautiful house, and it's a historic house, and I think that it should be saved. I just think that it needs to be moved to a location that it will be safe and it won't do anything to further hurt the environment.
In general, we do a lot of storm tracking. Hurricanes are tracked very well. We understand hurricanes very well. They're very well defined, and we have really good definitions, tight definitions of what a hurricane is. In terms of nor'easters and extratropical storms, they're much more difficult. They don't have a defined eye. They don't move around the same way that hurricanes do, so it's much trickier to even define storms or rank them in terms of intensity. We do in general know that with global warming, there's more heat in the atmosphere, and heat is energy, and energy makes can make storm events much more powerful, much more intense. So it's very likely climate change has contributed to the intensification of some storms, and probably all of them across the board, but not each and every one.
So I think that the property where the house is adjacent is also in jeopardy. So to me, the idea of moving it back just a little bit again just seems like it's not beneficial.
The problem is it's the lot it's more of a zoning issue. Like they're only zoned for a certain amount of bedrooms, so they don't want to put more than one house on one lot. The dune it doesn't matter what's on the dune. Dune's going. Yeah, I get the question of how long do these houses have, or any given house, how long do they have? And the answer I give to people is if you can tell me how many storms are coming, I can tell you how long they have. Until we can predict storms accurately, their intensity, their duration, it's going to be a crapshoot. We just don't know. But you can look around and you can see the changes that have been happening the last 5-10 years. And you can measure the distance from the coastal bluff to your house or to a structure, and you get a sense of best case scenario and worst case scenario. And if you're within 30, 40 feet, worst case scenarios, it could be gone during the next storm. And the best case scenario, 10, 15, 20 years.
Way back in the turn of the century, it was a resort hotel area, and it was run by the Ball family, and that's actually why it's called Ballston Beach, because of the Ball family, and they had a resort there. And my understanding is that Ozzie Ball was very much of a rigid taskmaster for the people who worked there, and made it be really exclusive and didn't want outsiders coming in to their private beach. So I really do wish that I had seen it in the days when it was a resort hotel. But that was long gone, and all of those places that were part of the resort, and I think that they probably had a bowling alley and a lot of things like that, but they're all now in the middle of the water.
If I had a home along this stretch of beach, I would sell it. I would probably buy if I was going to live along the coast, I'd pick a rocky coast in Maine. Oh, people should not be surprised when this happens. It's not surprising at all. Scientists aren't surprised by this. We're surprised by the reaction. We're surprised by other people being surprised. We're surprised that it's news.